Hello there, and welcome to Sleepy Galaxy Channel. Tonight, you and I are going to wander toward one of the strangest and most misunderstood places in the entire universe, and we are going to do it without ever once feeling rushed, without ever once feeling afraid, without ever once needing to brace ourselves for what we might find. The question we are holding is a simple one to ask and an almost impossible one to answer, and that is exactly why it makes such a good companion for a long night. What happens inside a black hole? It sounds like the beginning of something frightening, doesn't it? The kind of question that might keep a curious mind turning over and over in the dark. But here is the small paradox we will lean on tonight, the quiet contradiction at the heart of it all. The most famous boundary in physics, the very edge of a black hole, the line we call the horizon, is not a wall, and not a cliff, and not a door that slams shut behind you. It is a boundary so gentle you could cross it without a single jolt, without a single bump, without ever feeling the precise instant when one side became the other. You could pass through the most absolute frontier in nature and never feel the crossing at all. And if the most extreme threshold in the cosmos can be that smooth, then surely the threshold between waking and sleeping, the one you are drifting toward right now, can be smoother still. Over the next couple of hours, we will move through this idea slowly, the way you might wade out into warm water, one unhurried step at a time. We will look at how a black hole is born, and how something so dramatic can come from something so ordinary as a star simply growing tired. We will look at that famous edge, the event horizon, and ask what it would truly be like to approach it and to pass it. We will look at the deep interior, at the place where our maps run out of ink, and we will find a way to make even that mystery feel like a soft, open field rather than a locked room. And we will look at time itself, at how it bends and stretches and slows near these objects, until it becomes something almost tender, something almost like rest. 4 threads then, woven loosely together, with plenty of room between them for your mind to settle and your breathing to slow. And if at any point you find this useful, if the sound of this voice and these ideas helps the night feel a little wider and a little kinder, a like or a subscribe genuinely helps the channel reach others who are also lying awake right now. Others staring at the same dark ceiling, others hoping for something to carry them gently down into sleep. That is all. There is nothing more for you to do. None of this is anything you need to hold on to. None of these facts are anything you must remember. None of these images are anything you have to keep. They are here to be released, not retained. So settle in now, wherever you are. Let your shoulders ease down from wherever they have crept up toward your ears. Let your jaw unclench. Let the weight of your head sink fully into the pillow, and let the bed hold you completely, the way the ground holds a stone. Let your hands rest open or loosely curled, whichever feels more like letting go. There is nothing to fix tonight, nowhere to be, no edge to guard against. Let's begin. To understand what happens inside a black hole, we have to begin somewhere far more familiar, somewhere warm and bright and steady, and that place is an ordinary star. Picture a star the way you have always pictured one, a great glowing sphere of light hanging in the dark, patient and unbothered, shining for billions of years. A star is, in the simplest terms, a long and hushed argument between 2 forces, and for most of its life that argument is perfectly balanced, perfectly even, the kind of disagreement so settled it looks like peace. On one side there is gravity, always pulling inward, always wanting to gather everything toward the center, always trying to make the star smaller. On the other side there, is the heat and pressure of nuclear fusion in the core, where hydrogen is being pressed into helium, releasing energy that pushes outward, always wanting to make the star larger. Inward and outward, held in a balance so fine and so durable that it can last for 10 billion years without ever tipping. The star is not struggling. It is simply breathing, in its own slow way, across spans of time so vast they make a human life feel like a single held breath. And for all those billions of years, nothing dramatic happens at all, which is itself a kind of comfort. The star simply shines. It warms whatever planets drift around it. It pours its light out into the dark in every direction, asking for nothing in return, keeping its serene equilibrium between the pull and the push. You can let your own breathing fall into that same easy rhythm now if you like. The slow draw inward, the slow release outward. No effort in either direction. Just the natural exchange of a thing that knows how to keep itself balanced without trying. That is the starting point of our whole story tonight. Not violence, not collapse, not anything sudden. Just a star, glowing softly in the dark, holding itself together for an unimaginable stretch of time, entirely at ease. Everything that follows, every strange and wonderful thing we will explore, grows out of this one tranquil image, the way the deepest sleep grows out of the simplest act of lying still. But stars, like all of us, eventually grow tired, not suddenly and not in pain, but in the most natural way imaginable, simply by running low on fuel. For all those billions of years, the star has been burning through its hydrogen, fusing it patiently in the core, and one day the hydrogen begins to run thin. The star does not panic. It simply adjusts, the way you adjust your position in bed in the middle of the night, without ever fully waking. It begins to fuse heavier elements, helium into carbon, carbon into oxygen, working its way slowly up a ladder of elements, each step a little quicker than the last, each step releasing a little less energy than the one before. And here is where the size of the star begins to matter, where the path forward divides. A small or middling star, a star like our own sun, will reach a certain point on that ladder and simply stop, unable to press any further, and it will gently shed its outer layers into space like a long exhale, leaving behind a warm, dense ember called a white dwarf that will cool over the ages without drama. That is a peaceful ending, a tranquil retirement, and it is the fate of most stars in the sky. But the truly massive stars, the giants, the ones many times heavier than our sun, have a different and stranger road ahead of them, and it is their road that leads us toward the black holes we came here to understand. Imagine then one of these great heavy stars, far larger than our sun, burning through its ladder of elements faster and faster, climbing higher and higher, until at last it reaches iron. Iron is a kind of resting point in the heart of a star, a place where the climbing has to end, because fusing iron does not release energy the way the lighter elements did. It costs energy instead. And so for the very first time in the star's enormous life, the outward push falters. The core, which has spent billions of years pressing back against gravity with the steady warmth of fusion, suddenly has nothing left to push with. The long, even argument between inward and outward, the balance that held for so many ages, tips at last toward inward. And what happens next happens with a speed that is almost hard to believe, though it remains, in its own way, a kind of release rather than a kind of violence. The core of the star collapses inward in a fraction of a second, falling toward its own center faster than you could blink. An immense weight finally letting itself drop. When that collapse happens, the outer layers of the star, which had been resting on the support of the core, suddenly find nothing beneath them, and they too begin to fall inward, racing down toward the center. And then they rebound, crashing into the impossibly dense core and bouncing back outward in a shockwave of staggering power, and the star tears itself apart in an explosion we call a supernova. For a few brief days or weeks, this single dying star can shine brighter than an entire galaxy of 100 billion stars combined, a final blaze of light so brilliant that it can be seen across the whole universe. It sounds cataclysmic, and in terms of raw energy it certainly is, but try, if you can, to see it from a distance, from the calm vantage of deep space and deep time. A supernova is also a moment of profound generosity. Every heavier element scattered into the cosmos by that explosion, the calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen filling your lungs at this very moment, all of it was forged in the hearts of stars and then given away in their dying. You are made of supernova. The atoms resting in your hand right now were once at the center of a star that exploded, and they drifted for ages through the dark before gathering, eventually, into you. There is nothing frightening in that. There is only a very long, very patient kind of belonging. And yet, even as the supernova flings most of the star's material outward into space, something is left behind at the very center, something the explosion could not scatter. The innermost core, that collapsing heart, has been crushed by gravity into a state of density we can barely describe. If the remaining core is heavy enough, nothing in nature can stop its fall. There is no force left, no pressure, no resistance, nothing at all that can hold it up against the inward pull of its own gravity, and so it keeps falling inward and inward and inward, collapsing past every limit, until it has folded down into a point of such concentrated mass that it warps the very fabric of space and time around itself. This is the birth of a black hole. Not a hole punched into the universe, not an opening into nothing, but a place where gravity has won so completely, so totally, that it has wrapped space itself around a single point and tucked it away. The star has not vanished. It has simply gathered itself into the most compact form that matter can take, and gone quiet, and gone dark. I want you to notice something soothing about all of this, even now, this early in our night. Everything we have described, from the patient balance of the living star to the sudden collapse of its core to the birth of the black hole, is gravity simply doing the one thing it has always done, which is to gather, to draw together, to pull inward toward the center. Gravity is not malicious. It is the most faithful force in the universe, the one that never lets go, the one that holds you to your bed right now, the one that keeps the moon circling the earth and the earth circling the sun. The black hole is not gravity gone wrong. It is gravity carried all the way to its natural conclusion, gravity completing the long sentence it began at the moment the star was born. And you, lying here, are held by that same patient force, drawn down into the softness beneath you, gathered toward rest by the very same pull that gathered a dying star into a black hole. You can let yourself be drawn down now, just a little further, into the warmth and the weight of where you lie. Now that we have watched a black hole be born, let us draw a little closer to it and consider what one actually is, in the plainest terms we can find. The word itself can sound ominous, can it not? A black hole, an emptiness, an absence, a thing that swallows. But the truer picture is almost the opposite of emptiness. A black hole is not where there is nothing. A black hole is where there is so much, so densely packed, so completely concentrated, that the ordinary rules of space and light have to make way for it. Think of it less as a hole and more as a deep, smooth well in the fabric of reality. Scientists like to picture space and time together as a kind of vast, flexible sheet, stretched out in every direction, and every object that has mass rests upon that sheet and presses down into it, making a dip, a curve, a tender hollow. The sun makes a wide, shallow hollow, and the earth rolls around the inside of that hollow the way a marble circles the inside of a bowl, never falling in, just endlessly curving around. You make a tiny, almost invisible hollow yourself, right now, simply by having a body. Everything that exists leaves its own small impression on the sheet of space. A black hole is simply the deepest hollow there can be. It presses down into the sheet so far, curves space so steeply, that the sides of its well become almost vertical, and then, at a certain point, more than vertical, folding over on themselves. And the famous edge of a black hole, the boundary we will spend so much time with tonight, is simply the place on that well where the slope becomes too steep for anything to climb back out, even light itself. That boundary has a name, the event horizon, and it is one of the most beautiful and most misunderstood ideas in all of science. We will return to it again and again, because it is the threshold at the center of our question, the line that separates the part of the universe we can see from the part we can never see. But for now, hold only this simple image. A black hole is not a void, it is a well, and the event horizon is not a wall around the well. It is only the line where the slope tips past the point of return, a boundary so gentle and so smooth that, as we will discover, you could drift across it without ever feeling that you had moved at all. Let that image rest in your mind, soft and round, like the dip a head makes in a pillow. So let us go to that edge now, slowly and carefully, the way you would approach the rim of something vast and quiet at dawn. The event horizon. The name itself is worth turning over for a moment, because it tells you exactly what the thing is. A horizon, in ordinary life, is the line where the curve of the earth hides the rest of the world from your eyes. When you stand on a beach and look out at the sea, the horizon is not a wall, not a barrier, not anything you could touch. It is simply the place beyond which you cannot see, the line where the world continues, but your vision does not. If you got into a boat and sailed toward it, you would never reach it, never bump against it, never find a single moment where you crossed from this side to that side. The horizon would simply keep receding, and the world you could not see before would quietly become the world around you. An event horizon works in much the same way, except that what lies beyond it is hidden not by the curve of the earth, but by the curve of space itself. Bent so completely that no light from beyond it can ever reach your eyes. It is the line past which events are hidden from the rest of the universe forever. Hence the name. The horizon of events, the edge past which what happens stays unseen. And here is the part that surprises almost everyone who first learns it, the part that turns this whole subject from something frightening into something strangely tender. If you were to fall toward a large black hole and to cross its event horizon, you would feel nothing. There would be no membrane to break through, no shock, no flash, no sudden change in temperature or pressure, no sense of having passed from one realm into another. The event horizon is not a physical thing at all. There is nothing there. It is a location in empty space, mathematically defined, marked by no object and no surface and no sign. Space on the inside of it looks exactly like space on the outside of it. If you closed your eyes as you fell, you would have no way of knowing the instant you crossed. You would not feel it pass. It is, in the most literal and precise scientific sense, a boundary so gentle you cross it without a single jolt, the most absolute frontier in the entire universe, the line beyond which there is no return, and you could drift across it as smoothly as you are about to drift across the line between wakefulness and sleep, without ever catching the exact moment of the change. Think about how rare that is, how unusual. Almost every boundary we know in ordinary life announces itself. The edge of a swimming pool is cold and sudden. The threshold of a doorway has a frame you can touch. The line between standing and falling is marked by the lurch in your stomach. We are creatures who expect our boundaries to be sharp, to be felt, to be guarded against. And yet here, at the most dramatic edge in all of physics, there is nothing to feel at all. The universe has hidden its most extreme threshold inside the smoothest possible transition. There is something deeply reassuring in that, I think something worth carrying with you towards sleep. The biggest passages are not always the roughest ones. Sometimes the most complete transformations happen in the quietest possible way, without alarm, without effort, without anything you would have to brace against. You simply find yourself, after a while, on the other side, having crossed without crossing. Now, there is one detail we should be honest about, and it is the part of the story that sounds alarming until you understand it properly, after which it becomes almost tender. If the black hole is small, the journey toward the horizon would not be comfortable because of an effect with a wonderfully homely name. Scientists call it spaghettification. It happens because gravity pulls harder on whatever is closer to the center. If you were falling feet first toward a small black hole, your feet would be a little nearer to the center than your head, and so gravity would pull on your feet a little harder than on your head, stretching you out, thinning you, drawing you long. But here is the part that turns this into something other than a horror story. For a small black hole, that stretching would happen well before you ever reached the horizon. And for a large black hole, an enormous one, the kind that sits at the centers of galaxies, the stretching at the horizon would be so slight, so faint, that you would not feel it at all. The bigger the black hole, the gentler the approach, which is one of the loveliest and least intuitive facts in all of physics. The largest of these objects, the supermassive ones, millions or billions of times the mass of our sun, would let you cross their horizons in perfect comfort, in perfect smoothness, without the faintest tug. So when we imagine our own serene crossing tonight, let us always imagine it at one of these great, enormous black holes, where the boundary is at its very softest, where there is genuinely nothing to feel, where you could pass the point of no return and never know it had come and gone. Let us pause here for a little while in the history of the idea itself, because the story of how human beings came to imagine black holes at all is a slow and pleasant one, full of patient thinkers working quietly across the centuries, each adding a single brushstroke to a picture none of them would ever fully see. The first glimpse came surprisingly early, more than 200 years ago, from an English country clergyman named John Michell, a man who spent his evenings thinking about the nature of light and the pull of gravity. In the year 1783, working entirely with the physics of his own time, he wondered something simple and strange. If gravity could slow down a thrown stone, and if light was made of tiny particles as many then believed, could there be a star so massive so heavy, that its gravity would slow down even light, pulling the light back before it could escape, leaving the star invisible. He called such an object a dark star, and he reasoned that the heavens might be full of them, vast hidden bodies that we could never see because their own light could never reach us. It was a remarkable thought, tender and almost poetic, and then, for well over a century, the world more or less forgot about it. The idea drifted off into the dark, like so many ideas do, waiting patiently for someone to find it again. It was found again, in a far deeper form, in the early years of the 20th century, when a thoughtful patent clerk turned physicist named Albert Einstein gave the world a new way of understanding gravity altogether. Einstein's great insight, the one we touched on earlier with our image of the stretched sheet, was that gravity is not really a force pulling objects together at all, but rather the curving and bending of space and time around anything that has mass. This was his theory of general relativity, and he published its full form in the year 1915, in the middle of a terrible war, working out the deep structure of the universe while the world around him fell into chaos. There is something moving in that, a mind reaching toward the most peaceful and eternal truths while everything nearby was noise. Einstein wrote down a set of equations describing how mass curves the fabric of reality, and he expected them to be solved slowly, over many years, by many people. He did not expect an answer to come within months, and from the unlikeliest of places. That answer came from a German astronomer named Karl Schwarzschild, who, at the very moment Einstein published his equations, was serving as a soldier on the Russian front, calculating the paths of artillery shells in the cold and the mud. And there, in the trenches, in the lulls between the terrible work of war, Schwarzschild read Einstein's new theory and sat down to solve it. Within weeks, he had found the first exact solution to Einstein's equations, a precise mathematical description of the space and time around a single round mass. And buried inside his solution was something peculiar, a particular distance from the center of any mass at which the mathematics seemed to do something strange, a radius where, if all the mass were squeezed inside it, the curving of space would become total and complete. That distance is now called the Schwarzschild radius, and it is, in fact, the size of the event horizon. He had, without quite intending to, written down the mathematics of a black hole, the very first true description of one. He sent his work to Einstein from the front lines, and Einstein presented it to the world on his behalf. And then, in a quiet sorrow that hangs over the whole story, Schwarzschild fell ill at the front and died only a few months later, having glimpsed the deepest structure of the universe from inside the worst of human folly. His name lives on now in the most peaceful place imaginable, attached forever to that serene boundary we have been circling all night. For decades after that, even the greatest physicists, Einstein himself among them, did not quite believe that such objects could really exist out there in the sky. They thought the mathematics was a curiosity, a quirk of the equations, something that nature would surely never actually build. Surely no real star would ever collapse so completely. Surely something would always step in to stop it. And so the idea slumbered again, half believed, half dismissed, for the better part of another generation. It took the patient work of many more thinkers across the middle of the 20th century, people like Robert Oppenheimer, working out exactly how a heavy star's core would collapse, and later the great mathematician Roger Penrose, proving that such collapse was not a fluke, but an inevitability, to bring the idea fully into the light. And it was only in the year 1967 that the physicist John Wheeler gave these objects the name we now use, the name that stuck, the name that has haunted and delighted us ever since. He called them black holes. Before that, they had been called frozen stars, or collapsed stars, or dark stars. But Wheeler's name was the one that caught, simple and stark and unforgettable. And so an idea that began with a country clergyman dreaming of invisible stars that passed through a soldier in the trenches and a patent clerk reshaping the cosmos finally arrived, after nearly 2 centuries of patient thought, at a name and a shape we could all hold in our minds. Notice how slowly it all happened, how unhurried, how each thinker simply added their small piece and then handed the work onward. There is no rush in the history of understanding. The deepest truths reveal themselves at their own pace, in their own time, and there is nothing you can do to hurry them, just as there is nothing you can do to hurry sleep, only the tender willingness to let it come. And now, in our own time, the dream has become a photograph. For all those centuries, black holes were only mathematics and inference, shapes we deduced from the wobbling of nearby stars or the glow of swirling gas. But in the year 2019, for the very first time, humanity actually saw one. A vast network of telescopes scattered across the whole face of the Earth, from Hawaii to Spain to the South Pole, all worked together as if they were a single instrument the size of the entire planet, staring for days at a single distant galaxy. And when all that data was patiently combined, an image slowly emerged, a ring of warm light surrounding a perfect circle of darkness, the shadow of a black hole more than 50 million light-years away, an object so enormous it could swallow our entire solar system many times over. There it was at last, the thing the clergyman had imagined, the thing the soldier had calculated, the thing Wheeler had named, glowing softly in a photograph that any of us could look at. After 200 years of dreaming, we finally opened our eyes and found it waiting, exactly where the mathematics had promised it would be. Let that settle over you for a moment, the sheer patience of it, the long, slow, collective reaching of countless minds across countless years, all to glimpse a single faint ring of light in the dark. You are the inheritor of all that patience tonight, lying here, knowing what they spent their lives to learn, and you can let it carry you, the way a river carries a leaf, gently downstream toward rest. Now let us return to the heart of our question, the part we keep circling, the part that gives this whole night its title. What actually happens inside a black hole, once you have crossed that boundary so gentle, you cross it without a single jolt. And here I have to tell you something honest, something that is itself a kind of comfort. Nobody knows. Not fully, not yet. The inside of a black hole is one of the very few places in the entire universe that is, by its own nature, sealed away from us. No light comes out. No signal comes out. No information of any kind can travel from the inside to the outside, because to do so, it would have to climb back up that impossibly steep well, and nothing can climb out, not even light. So the interior of a black hole is the one room in the cosmos whose door only opens inward. Whatever happens in there happens in perfect privacy, hidden from every telescope and every instrument we will ever build. And rather than finding that frustrating, I would invite you to find it restful. There is a place in the universe that asks nothing of us, that hides nothing out of cruelty, but simply because that is its nature, a place we are allowed to wonder about without ever being required to solve. Not everything needs to be known. Some mysteries are meant to be left soft and unopened, like a gift you choose not to unwrap, content simply to hold. But while we cannot see inside, we are not entirely without ideas. The mathematics of Einstein's theory does carry on past the horizon, and it tries, in its own way, to describe what lies within. And what it describes is strange and beautiful, and once you understand it, far less frightening than it first sounds. The most surprising thing the mathematics tells us is about the nature of the center, the place we call the singularity. You have probably heard that word, and it tends to be spoken in hushed, dramatic tones, as if it were the most terrifying thing in physics. The singularity is the point at the very heart of the black hole where, according to the equations, all the mass is gathered and the curving of space becomes infinite. But here is the gentlest possible way to understand what that really means, and it surprises almost everyone. Inside a black hole, the singularity is not really a place at all. It is not a point in space you could travel toward, the way you might walk toward a distant lamp. Instead, because of the way the black hole bends space and time around each other, the singularity becomes something more like a moment in time. It becomes part of your future, not part of your surroundings. It becomes less like a destination and more like tomorrow, an event that is simply going to arrive, the way the morning arrives, not because you travel toward it, but because time carries you onward. Let that idea unfold slowly, because it is one of the most extraordinary in all of physics, and once it settles, it becomes oddly peaceful. Outside a black hole, in the ordinary world you and I live in, you can move freely through space. You can walk forward or backward, left or right, up or down. But time you cannot choose. Time only ever moves in one direction, always forward, always carrying you from this moment into the next, gently and without exception. You do not have to do anything to travel through time. You simply rest, and it carries you. Now, the strange and wonderful thing about the inside of a black hole is that space and time, in a sense, trade places. Once you cross the horizon, moving toward the center is no longer something you choose, the way you chose to walk into a room. It becomes something that simply happens to you, as unavoidable and as effortless as the passing of the next minute. The center, the singularity, lies in your future the way tomorrow lies in your future, and you drift toward it not by effort, but by the same serene inevitability that carries all of us from one moment to the next. There is nothing to fight against, because there is nothing to do. You could not steer away from the center any more than you can steer away from the next hour of the night. And so the journey inward becomes, of all things, a kind of surrender, a kind of letting be, a release of the very idea that you must do something to arrive somewhere. I find that genuinely soothing, and I hope you will too. So much of being awake, so much of the restlessness that keeps us up at night, comes from the feeling that we must steer, that we must choose, that we must hold the wheel of our own lives and never let go. But inside a black hole, the universe quietly takes the wheel from your hands. There is no more steering to be done, no more choosing, no more effort. You simply rest, and you are carried. And the rest is not a failure or a giving up, but the most natural thing in the world. As natural as letting the next moment arrive. Perhaps you can feel a little of that right now. The permission to stop steering, the permission to let yourself be carried by the night rather than steering through it. You do not have to find your way to sleep. You do not have to navigate toward it. You only have to stop holding the wheel and let the slow current of the night carry you there on its own. And what of the singularity itself, that point we are all told to fear? The honest answer is that the word singularity in physics, does not really mean a terrible object. It means, more humbly than that, the place where our current theories stop being able to describe what is happening. It is a signpost that reads, "Our knowledge ends here, and beyond this point we will need new ideas we do not yet have." When the mathematics produces an infinity, as it does at the singularity, scientists do not actually believe that something truly becomes infinite. They take it as a sign that the theory has reached the edge of what it can explain, the way a map of an old explorer might simply fade to blank parchment at its margins. The singularity is the blank parchment at the edge of Einstein's map. And there is good reason to think that a deeper theory, one that joins Einstein's vision of gravity with the strange small-scale rules of quantum mechanics, would smooth that infinity away entirely, replacing it with something finite and far less dramatic. Many physicists suspect there is no true singularity at all, only a region we cannot yet describe, where some new and gentler physics takes over. So when you hear that there is a singularity at the heart of a black hole, you can hear it not as a threat, but as an invitation. A place where the universe keeps a secret it has not yet decided to share. A soft and undiscovered country waiting at the center of the deepest well in space. There is nothing there to harm you. There is only the edge of what is known, and the tender promise of more to learn. There is even a beautiful possibility, one that lives at the speculative frontier of physics, that the centers of the largest black holes might not be points of destruction at all, but something far stranger and far softer. Some thinkers wonder whether, deep inside, where our equations fail and new physics must take over, the crushing collapse might somehow turn around, might bounce, the way the core of a star once bounced into a supernova. They wonder whether matter falling in might be reshaped rather than ended, gathered and folded, and perhaps even given out again somewhere else, in some way we cannot yet picture. These are dreams, not facts, and I offer them only as dreams, the way you might offer a child a comforting story at the edge of sleep. But they remind us that the inside of a black hole is not necessarily a place of ending. It may be a place of transformation, a place where the universe does something with matter that we have not yet imagined, a place that is less a grave and more a hidden workshop. You need not believe any of it. You need only let it loosen the grip of fear and let the center of the black hole become, in your mind, not a thing to dread but a soft unknown, a quiet question, a place you may wonder about safely from the warmth of your own bed. Now I would like to take you on a little journey, an imagined one, the kind you can take only in the safety of your own mind, where nothing can ever truly happen to you. Imagine that you are drifting, slowly and without weight, through the deep quiet of space, far from any star, far from any sound. There is no up and no down out here, no floor and no ceiling, only the soft black velvet of the cosmos stretching away in every direction, scattered with distant points of light. You are not falling, exactly, and you are not rising. You are simply suspended, held in the vast tender stillness of the void, as relaxed and as weightless as you have ever been. Your breathing is slow. Your body has no work to do. Out here there is no gravity tugging at your limbs, no chair to hold yourself up in, no muscle that must stay tense to keep you upright. Everything that ever held tension in your body can simply let go, because out here there is nothing to hold against. You float. And ahead of you, very far away at first, there is a region of the sky where the stars seem to thin and gather strangely, where the light bends and curves as if seen through a great invisible lens. That is your destination, a vast and ancient black hole. one of the supermassive ones, so enormous and so old that its horizon is wider than the orbit of a planet. You are drifting toward it, not quickly, not with any sense of plunging or falling, but with the slow, easy, dreamlike drift of a feather settling through still air. There is no rush. Time stretches out around you. And as you draw nearer, the most astonishing sight begins to unfold, for the light of all the stars behind the black hole bends around it, wrapping the darkness in a glowing halo, a perfect ring of warped and shimmering starlight encircling a deep, smooth pool of black. It is one of the most beautiful sights in all of creation, and you are drifting toward it as peacefully as you might drift toward sleep, carried along by nothing but the patient pull of gravity, that faithful force that has gathered you in. You feel no fear, because there is nothing here to fear. The pull on your body is so even, so smooth, so faint, that you cannot feel it at all. You are simply being carried, the way a tide carries a swimmer who has stopped fighting the water and chosen instead to float. Closer now, and the great dark pool fills more and more of your view, until it is no longer a circle ahead of you, but a vast and soothing darkness spread across half the sky, a darkness softer than any night you have ever known, deeper than any sleep. And somewhere in that approach, somewhere in that long, slow, weightless drift, you cross the horizon. You do not feel it. There is no boundary to feel. There is no jolt, no membrane, no instant of crossing. One moment, the great darkness is ahead of you and around you, and the next moment, without any change you could ever point to, you are within it, carried across the most absolute threshold in the universe as smoothly and as quietly as a breath passes from in to out. You have crossed a boundary so gentle, you crossed it without a single jolt, and the only thing that has changed is that now, ahead of you, lies only deeper quiet, only deeper rest, only the soft unknown at the center, waiting in your future like the coming of morning. There is one more thing about that journey that we should explore, perhaps the strangest and most tender of all, and it concerns time. Because near a black hole, time itself behaves in ways that seem almost designed to slow the world down, to stretch every moment long and wide, to ease the relentless ticking of the clock into something nearly motionless. This is one of the deepest discoveries of Einstein's theory, and it is true not only near black holes, but everywhere, in smaller ways, all the time. Gravity slows down time. Wherever gravity is stronger, time runs more slowly. This is not a trick or an illusion. It is a real and measured fact of the universe, so real that the satellites circling the Earth, the ones that guide us when we travel, must be carefully adjusted to account for it, because time runs very slightly faster for them, high up where the Earth's gravity is weaker, than it does for us down here on the ground. Even in your own home, time runs the tiniest fraction slower for your feet than for your head, because your feet are a little closer to the Earth, a little deeper in its gravity. You are, at this very moment, living in a place where time itself is bent ever so slightly by the world beneath you. It is a small thing, far too small to feel. But near a black hole, this same effect grows enormous, and it becomes one of the most beautiful phenomena in all of nature. As you drifted toward that great black hole in our imagined journey, time would begin to slow for you, relative to the rest of the universe. If a friend stayed far away and watched you fall, they would see your descent grow slower and slower as you neared the horizon, your motion easing, your clock ticking more and more leisurely, until from their distant vantage you would seem to almost stop, hovering at the edge, suspended in a single long, drawn-out moment. To them, you would never quite seem to cross. You would simply linger there, slower and slower, fading and reddening, as the last of your light took longer and longer to reach them, until at last you faded so far into stillness that you blended into the darkness itself. And here is the tender part. For you, falling, none of that slowness would feel like slowness at all. Your own time would feel perfectly normal, perfectly natural. The way your own heartbeat always feels steady to you, even when you are resting. You would cross the horizon in your own good time, smoothly and without delay, while to the watching universe, you seemed to hang forever at the threshold, caught in a moment that would not end. Two truths at once, both real, both gentle. To the outside, you become eternal, a soft and unfading presence held forever at the edge. To yourself, you simply drift onward into the quiet, carried along as easily as ever. Think about what that means, slowly, with no need to grasp it all at once. Near a black hole, the universe offers something almost like a held breath, a place where time pools and gathers and slows, where a single moment can stretch out toward forever. We so often wish, in our waking lives, that time would slow down, that the good moments would last longer, that the rushing hours would ease their pace. And here, written into the deepest structure of reality, is a place where time genuinely does slow, where the frantic ticking of the clock relaxes into something long and wide and unhurried. There is a strange comfort in knowing that the universe contains such places, that the river of time, which feels so fixed and so relentless in our daily lives, is not fixed at all, that it bends and pools and slows wherever gravity gathers. The clock is not your master. Even the universe knows how to let time stretch. And tonight, in your own small way, you can let time stretch too. You do not need to count the hours. You do not need to track the minutes. You can let the clock soften and recede. Let the night grow wide and slow around you. Let a single breath feel as long as it likes, and let the whole rushing machinery of time ease down into the same hushed pool that gathers at the edge of a black hole. There is something else worth resting in here. A tender thought about the deep relationship between gravity and time. Everywhere in the universe, the stronger the gravity, the slower and the deeper time runs. And is it not lovely that the same is true of rest? The heavier you feel, the more your body sinks into the bed, the deeper and slower your own sense of time becomes. When you are light and restless, time races. When you are heavy and settled, time slows and softens. Your body knows this without being told. And so as you let yourself grow heavier now, as you let the mattress take more and more of your weight, as you let your limbs sink and your head settle, and the whole of you press downward into the softness beneath you, you are, in your own small and human way, doing exactly what a black hole does. You are letting gravity gather you. You are letting your own weight slow your own time. You are sinking into your own tender well, where the hours run long, and the moments pool, and the night stretches wide and warm around you. Heavier and slower, deeper into the quiet pull of rest. Let us turn now to something that often surprises people. The discovery that black holes are not entirely black after all, and that even they, in the end, fade and rest. For a long time, scientists believed that a black hole was the most permanent thing imaginable, an object that could only grow, never shrink, swallowing whatever drifted too close and holding it forever, eternal and unchanging. But then, in the early 1970s, a young physicist named Stephen Hawking, working through the deep mathematics where gravity meets the quantum world, found something nobody expected. He discovered that black holes very, very slowly glow. They give off a faint whisper of radiation, a barely there warmth seeping outward from just above the horizon, so slight as to be almost nothing at all, and yet real. We call it Hawking radiation now, named for the man who found it. And it means that black holes are not truly eternal. Over unimaginable stretches of time, they slowly give themselves back to the universe, radiating away their mass one faint whisper at a time, growing smaller and smaller across spans of years so vast that the numbers lose all meaning. The timescales here are so enormous that they are almost a kind of lullaby in themselves. A black hole the mass of our sun would take far, far longer to fade away than the entire current age of the universe, not by a little, but by an amount so staggering that you would have to write the number of years with so many zeros that they would fill page after page. The great supermassive black holes at the centers of galaxies would take even longer, outlasting the stars, outlasting the galaxies, outlasting nearly everything else in the cosmos. They will be among the very last things still present in the universe, glowing faintly in an immense and peaceful darkness long after the last star has burned out, patient sentinels keeping watch over the slow and tranquil twilight of all things. And then, at the very, very end of their unthinkably long lives, after all that patient fading, they too will gently release the last of themselves and quietly come to rest. There is no violence in this ending, no catastrophe, only the softest possible dissolving, a whisper trailing off into silence after a span of time too long for any mind to truly hold. Everything rests, in the end, even the black holes, even the most permanent things in all of creation eventually let themselves go, slowly and without struggle, into the great quiet. And if they, the mightiest and most enduring objects in the universe, can finally lay down their long vigil and rest, then surely you, tonight, can lay down the smaller weight of your own day and let yourself rest too. It might be worth pausing here to take in the sheer scale of these objects, not to feel small beneath them, but to feel, oddly, safe within a universe so spacious. The black holes that form from single dying stars, the ones we began our night with, are modest by cosmic standards, perhaps a few times the mass of our sun, with horizons only a few miles across, smaller than a city, and yet containing the crushed and gathered weight of an entire star. But out there, in the wider universe, live the giants, the supermassive black holes, and their scale is genuinely difficult to picture. At the center of our own galaxy, the great spiral wheel of the Milky Way, in which our sun is just one of hundreds of billions of stars, there sits a supermassive black hole some 4 million times the mass of our sun. It has a name, drawn from the constellation in which we find it, and around it the innermost stars of our galaxy trace their long, looping orbits, swinging close and then sailing wide, dancing around that central darkness over thousands of years, held in its patient embrace. And our galaxy's central black hole is, believe it or not, a fairly modest example. In other galaxies there are supermassive black holes billions of times the mass of our sun, so vast that their horizons could swallow our entire solar system, planets and all, many times over, without the slightest difficulty. Immense, smooth darknesses, larger than the distance light travels in many hours. And yet, here is the thing I most want you to feel about all this enormousness. Out there, across the immense reaches of space, these giants are doing nothing harmful to us at all. They are unimaginably far away. The nearest known black hole to Earth is so distant that its presence has never once disturbed a single thing in our sky. The supermassive one at the heart of our galaxy is so remote that despite its staggering mass, you could lie out under the stars every night of your life and never feel the faintest pull from it, never see it, never have any reason to give it a moment's worry. These are not lurking dangers waiting to reach out for us. They are distant, ancient, hushed anchors, holding the great wheels of the galaxies in their slow rotation, keeping the cosmos turning in its vast and orderly dance. We owe them, in a strange way, a kind of thanks. The black hole at the center of our galaxy is part of what holds our galaxy together, part of the gravitational center around which our whole stellar neighborhood turns, part of the reason our sun has a stable place to call home across the long ages, part of the reason there has been time enough here on our peaceful planet for life to arise and for you to be lying here at all. Far from being a threat, that distant darkness is something more like a cornerstone, a still point at the heart of everything, holding it all in place so tenderly that we never even feel it. There is a comfort in scale, if you approach it the right way, a comfort that has nothing to do with feeling small. When you stand beneath a truly vast sky, or contemplate truly vast objects like these, something in the mind can finally exhale. All the worries of the day, the things left undone, the words you wish you had said or not said, the small anxious weights you have been carrying, all of them shrink to their true and proper size against the backdrop of a universe this large and this old and this patient. Not because they do not matter, but because the universe is gracious enough to be big enough to hold them all without strain, and you within it. You are a small, warm, living thing in an enormous and ancient cosmos, and that is not a frightening thought, but a deeply restful one, because it means you are allowed, tonight, to set everything down. The universe has been turning for nearly 14 billion years without your supervision. The galaxies have been wheeling around their dark centers for ages beyond counting, with no help from you. The black holes have been keeping their patient watch since long before there was an Earth, and they will keep it long after. And through all of it, you are asked to do precisely nothing. You may rest completely. The cosmos has it handled. It always has. Picture, if it helps, the great wheel of our galaxy turning slowly in the dark, that immense spiral of hundreds of billions of stars, sweeping grandly around its hushed center across 200 million years for a single turn. Our sun, with the Earth and you upon it, is riding that wheel right now, sailing through space at an astonishing speed that you cannot feel in the slightest, carried so smoothly and so steadily that you have never once been jostled by it, not for an instant of your entire life. You are being carried, even now, even as you lie perfectly still. You are moving through the galaxy at a pace beyond imagining, swept along on the great slow current of the cosmos, and the ride is so impossibly smooth that it feels exactly like lying motionless in a hushed room. There it is again, the same tender truth that runs through our whole night. The grandest motions, the largest transitions, the most enormous journeys can feel like perfect stillness. You can be carried across unthinkable distances without a single jolt. You are being carried right now. And you can simply let yourself be carried into the night, into the warmth, into the slow, soft current that is even now drawing you down towards sleep, There is a deep and tender puzzle about black holes that has occupied some of the finest minds of the last half-century, and it concerns the question of what becomes of everything that falls in. Not the matter exactly, but something more subtle, something physicists call information. By information, they do not mean facts or words or memories in the ordinary sense, but rather the precise details of how every particle was arranged, the unique fingerprint of every object, the pattern that made a thing what it was rather than something else. One of the most cherished principles in all of physics is that this kind of information is never truly lost. You can burn a book, and it certainly seems gone, but in principle every detail of that book is still encoded in the smoke and the ash and the light, scattered and scrambled beyond any hope of reading, yet never actually erased. The universe, it has long been believed, keeps a perfect memory of itself, never quite letting anything vanish completely. And black holes posed a wonderful challenge to this belief. If everything that falls into a black hole is hidden behind the horizon, and if the black hole then slowly evaporates away, as Hawking showed, fading into that faint whisper of radiation, then where does all that information go? Does it vanish utterly? Does the universe forget? This question, sometimes called the information puzzle, sparked decades of the most beautiful and patient argument among physicists, a long and friendly disagreement carried out across conferences and chalkboards around the world. And while it is not fully settled even now, the direction of the thinking has been quietly reassuring. Most physicists today believe the information is not lost after all, that it is somehow encoded, somehow preserved, perhaps written subtly into the very radiation that escapes, perhaps held on the horizon itself in ways we are only beginning to understand. The universe, it seems, does not forget, even here, even at the edge of a black hole. Nothing that has ever been is truly erased. Everything that falls in is, in some deep and intricate way, still accounted for, still held, still kept. I find that an unexpectedly tender thought to carry toward sleep. The cosmos is built so that nothing is ever entirely lost. Every moment, every arrangement, every fleeting pattern is somehow remembered by the fabric of reality itself. You are remembered, in this sense, written into the universe in a way that cannot be undone. And whatever you set down tonight, whatever you release as you drift off, is not lost either, only loosened, only let go of for a while, held safely by a cosmos that keeps perfect memory of all it contains. Out of this puzzle came one of the strangest and most beautiful ideas in modern physics, an idea so strange that it sounds at first like a dream, and yet it has become one of the most fruitful notions in all of theoretical science. It is the suggestion that all the information about everything inside a black hole might be stored, in some sense, on its two-dimensional surface, on the horizon itself, the way the entire three-dimensional scene in a hologram is somehow encoded on a flat sheet. Physicists call this the holographic principle, and some of them have come to suspect that it might be true not only of black holes, but of the universe as a whole, that the rich three-dimensional world we move through might, in some profound and not yet understood way, be encoded on a distant boundary, like a vast and intricate hologram. You need not try to grasp the full meaning of this, and indeed no one fully grasps it yet. I offer it only as one more soft marvel to rest your mind upon, one more sign that the universe is far stranger and far kinder than it first appears, full of hidden depths and serene symmetries that we are only beginning to glimpse. The edge of a black hole, that boundary so gentle you cross it without a single jolt, may turn out to be one of the most information-rich surfaces in all of nature, a vast and shimmering sheet on which the deepest secrets of reality are quietly written. And you may simply let that image shimmer at the edge of your awareness, like light on water, asking nothing of you. Beautiful and dim and far away. Let us drift for a little while into one of the dreamier corners of all this, the question of whether a black hole might be a doorway to somewhere else. You have surely heard whispers of this idea in stories and films and late-night wonderings. The notion that perhaps, deep within, a black hole opens onto another place, another time, even another universe. I want to be honest with you, as I always am, that this lives at the very edge of speculation, far beyond anything we have ever observed or could ever test with the tools we have. But the mathematics does hold some tantalizing hints, and they make for the softest kind of bedtime wondering. When physicists worked through the full equations of certain idealized black holes, especially ones that spin, which all real black holes do, they found that the mathematics seemed to describe not just a path inward to a center, but, in these idealized cases, a possible path through. A kind of bridge or tunnel that the equations called, rather poetically, an Einstein-Rosen bridge. In popular language, we call them wormholes. These theoretical tunnels through the fabric of space and time, connecting one place to another, perhaps across unthinkable distances, perhaps to somewhere altogether new. Now, the careful physicists are quick to remind us that these bridges, as the simplest mathematics describes them, would almost certainly not be passable, would likely pinch closed faster than anything could travel through, would not in practice serve as the convenient doorways of our stories. The real interior of a real spinning black hole is far more complicated and far less inviting than the clean idealized picture. So I do not offer you the wormhole as a fact, only as a dream, the kind of dream the universe seems to leave lying around for us to find. And there is an even softer dream that some thoughtful physicists have entertained. The idea that the birth of a black hole in one universe might somehow correspond to the birth of a new universe on the other side, a fresh cosmos blossoming outward from what looks, from our side, like a collapse. In this dreamy picture, every black hole might be the seed of a whole new world, expanding and unfolding somewhere we can never see. Full of its own stars and its own galaxies, and perhaps, who knows, its own peaceful planets, where someone lies awake at night, wondering about the same questions you are wondering about now. There is no way to know if any of this is true. It may be only a beautiful coincidence in the mathematics. But it is a lovely thing to hold as you drift off. The thought that what looks like an ending from one side might be a beginning from another, that collapse and creation might be two faces of the same tender turning, that even the darkest and most final seeming places in the cosmos might be doorways rather than walls. And is that not, in its hushed way, the deepest theme of everything we have explored tonight? That the things which frighten us most, when we look at them closely and patiently and without fear, so often turn out to be doorways rather than walls. The event horizon, which sounds like a barrier, is a boundary so gentle you cross it without a single jolt. The singularity, which sounds like destruction, is more like a moment in your future, arriving as easily as morning. The black hole itself, which sounds like an ending, may be a beginning seen from the other side. Even the slow evaporation, which sounds like death, is the softest kind of rest after the longest kind of life. Again and again, when we draw close and look without fear, the terror dissolves and something tender is revealed underneath. And perhaps that is true of more than black holes. Perhaps that is true of so many of the things we lie awake fearing in the dark, that they too, looked at closely and patiently, would turn out to be doorways rather than walls, transitions rather than endings, boundaries so gentle we might cross them without a single jolt. You can let that quiet possibility rest over you now, like a thin, warm blanket. The thought that the things you fear in the night are far softer than they seem, and that you are far safer than the dark ever lets you feel. Let us spend a little time with the light around a black hole, because it is one of the most beautiful sights the universe has to offer, and picturing it is itself a kind of rest. A black hole on its own, sitting alone in empty space, would be very nearly invisible, a smooth absence against the stars, betraying itself only by the way it bends the light passing behind it. But many black holes are not alone. Many are surrounded by great swirling disks of gas and dust, the slow remnants of stars and clouds drawn into long, looping orbits around them, spiraling inward over ages. We call these accretion disks, and they are among the most luminous objects in the entire universe. As the gas spirals down toward the horizon, it crowds together, it rubs against itself, it heats up under the friction and the immense gravity until it glows white-hot and pours out light across the whole sky. Around the largest black holes, these disks can outshine entire galaxies, blazing so brilliantly that we can see them across the whole breadth of the observable universe, lighthouses at the edge of time. And the strangest part is that the light from this disk, as it travels toward us, is bent by the black hole's own gravity into shapes that seem almost impossible. The far side of the disk lifted up and over the top, the underside curled around the bottom, the whole thing wrapped into a luminous halo, so that you see the disk from impossible angles all at once, as if the black hole were a lens that lets you look around its own back. Picture it slowly. A great calm wheel of glowing gas, deep orange and gold and white, turning with immense and stately slowness around a perfect circle of darkness. And the light of that wheel bent and lifted and wrapped around the black center until it forms a shining ring, a crown of fire around a pool of perfect peace. It is, by some measures, the most dramatic light show in all of creation, and yet from a great enough distance it would appear to hang in the sky utterly still, turning so slowly across such vast scales that to your eye it would seem motionless, a frozen jewel of light and dark suspended in the night. There is a deep stillness even in the most violent places in the universe, when you stand far enough back and let time stretch. The most furious churning, seen from the right distance, becomes a serene glowing shape that barely seems to move at all. And perhaps that is a comfort for the churning that sometimes fills your own mind at night, the spinning thoughts, the restless turning over of the day. Stand back far enough, let the night stretch wide enough, and even that churning slows to a quiet glow, a soft shape you can watch from a distance without being caught up in it, turning so slowly now that it barely seems to move, fading at last into the calm dark all around it. And here is something tender about that ring of light, that crown of fire we call the photon sphere region, where light itself can be bent so completely that it travels in circles around the black hole. There is a place, just outside the horizon, where a beam of light, instead of escaping or falling in, can be caught into orbit, circling the black hole again and again, round and round, neither leaving nor falling, held in a perfect endless loop. Imagine that, light itself going round in a slow eternal circle, like a thought that has finally stopped struggling toward anywhere and simply rests in its turning. We tend to think of light as the fastest, most restless thing in the universe, always rushing outward, never pausing. And yet here, near a black hole, even light can be coaxed into a quiet orbit, can be persuaded to slow its endless rushing and simply circle, simply rest in its motion, going nowhere, content. If even light can stop its rushing here, then surely your thoughts can too, can slow from their racing, can ease into a slow circle, can stop straining toward tomorrow and simply rest in the turning of the night. Let your thoughts orbit gently now, going nowhere, reaching for nothing, neither escaping nor falling, simply circling slower and slower in the warm dark, until even they grow still. There is a quality to a black hole that I think is worth dwelling on for its own sake, a quality of profound simplicity, which is one of the most surprising things about these objects once you come to know them. You might imagine that something formed from the collapse of an entire star, containing all that mass and history and complexity, would itself be enormously complicated, full of features and details and structure. But the truth is almost the opposite, and it is captured in a phrase physicists use with a certain fondness. They say that black holes have no hair. By this they mean that a black hole, once it has settled, can be described completely by just three simple numbers: its mass, its spin, and its electric charge, and nothing else. Two black holes with the same mass, the same spin, and the same charge would be utterly identical, indistinguishable, no matter what they were made from, no matter what fell into them, no matter their wildly different histories. One might have formed from a blue giant star, and the other from the slow merging of two smaller holes, and yet, if their three numbers match, they are the same, perfectly and completely. All the complexity of whatever fell in is smoothed away, simplified, distilled down to those three serene numbers. A black hole is the simplest object in all of nature, the most stripped down, the most serene. There is something almost meditative in that, is there not? All that complexity, all that history, all that variety of stars and gas and dust, poured in and then smoothed to perfect simplicity, reduced to a state so plain it can be written in three numbers. The black hole does not carry the burden of remembering. On its smooth outer face, every detail of everything it has ever drawn in, it simply settles into the most basic possible state and rests there, untroubled, uncomplicated, at peace. And perhaps there is a small lesson in that for the end of a long day, a day that may have been full of complexity and history and detail, full of 1,000 things to track and hold and worry over. You do not have to carry all of that into the night with you. You do not have to keep every detail present and accounted for as you drift off. You can let the complexity smooth away, can let the 1,000 things of the day settle and simplify, can let yourself become, for these hours, as plain and as untroubled and as restful as a black hole that has finished settling and asks for nothing more. Let the details blur. Let the day simplify. Let yourself sink into the smooth simplicity of rest. It is worth remembering, too, just how common these objects are, and how that commonness is a kind of comfort rather than a cause for worry. For a long time, black holes seemed exotic, rare, almost theoretical, the sort of thing that might exist somewhere far away, but had little to do with the ordinary universe. We now understand that they are everywhere, woven all through the cosmos, a perfectly natural part of how the universe works. Astronomers estimate that our galaxy alone, our single Milky Way, contains many millions, perhaps 100 million, of the smaller star-formed black holes scattered quietly throughout the great spiral, most of them dark and alone and utterly harmless, simply drifting along their long orbits as they have for billions of years. And every large galaxy we have ever studied seems to host a supermassive one at its center, an ancient anchor at its heart. Black holes are not rare accidents or cosmic anomalies. They are an ordinary, expected, deeply woven part of the fabric of the universe, as natural as stars themselves, as natural as the spaces between them. There is something reassuring in that ordinariness. These are not freaks of nature lurking at the edges of reality. They are part of how the cosmos is built, part of its quiet machinery, part of the same patient order that gives us stable suns and turning galaxies and long ages in which life can unfold. The universe is not a fragile or a frightening place. It is an old and orderly and deeply patient one, full of these serene dark anchors holding everything tenderly in its slow and beautiful turning. And you are a small, safe, settled part of that same order, lying here, held by the same tender laws that hold the galaxies, drifting toward rest as naturally as a black hole drifts through the dark. Let us consider, slowly and without alarm, what it would be like to fall all the way in, past the horizon, down toward the center, not as a thing to fear, but as a kind of guided drift, the gentlest possible descent. We have already crossed the horizon together in our imagined journey without feeling a thing. So let us continue inward now, in the imagination, where you are perfectly safe and nothing can ever truly touch you. Inside the horizon of a great supermassive black hole, the space around you would still look, for a surprisingly long while, much like ordinary space. There would be no sudden hellscape, no churning chaos, no roaring or burning. If you fell into one of the very largest black holes, you could drift for what feels, to you, like a long peaceful stretch of time before reaching the center, perhaps hours by your own clock, falling through a serene darkness, the stars of the outside universe still visible behind you, gathered now into a bright shrinking circle high above. You would have time in those hours to simply be, to float and breathe and watch, carried inexorably but gently toward the center, with nothing to do and nowhere to steer. The most complete release from effort that the universe could possibly offer. And as you fell, the universe behind you would do something strange and beautiful. All the light from the outside cosmos, all the stars and galaxies you left behind, would be gathered and concentrated into that bright circle above you, blue shifted and brightened and crowded together, so that looking back, you would see the entire history of the outside universe compressed into a single dazzling window, the whole sky of creation gathered into one shining doorway behind you. It is one of the most extraordinary views imaginable, the entire universe distilled into a single circle of light, growing smaller and brighter as you descend. A last luminous glimpse of everything you have ever known, beautiful beyond words, peaceful beyond fear. You would not be falling away into nothing. You would be falling away with the whole of creation gathered into a single soft light above you, watching over your descent like a window full of stars, like the last glow of a room you are leaving as you drift off to sleep. I want to be tender and honest with you about the very center, because we have built this whole night on honesty and on care together. At the very heart, where our knowledge ends and the singularity is written into the equations, our current physics simply cannot tell us what truly happens. The mathematics says the curving of space grows extreme, that the gathering becomes total. But as we discussed, most physicists believe this is the place where our theories hand off to some deeper and gentler physics we do not yet possess, some new understanding that would smooth the harsh infinity into something finite and far softer. So we genuinely do not know what waits at the center. And I would invite you, one last time, to receive that not as a terror, but as a mercy. The center of a black hole is the one place in all the universe that has been left deliberately blank on our maps. A soft, undiscovered country, a tender mystery the cosmos has chosen to keep for now. There is nothing there that you must understand tonight. There is nothing there that asks anything of you. There is only the soft unknown, waiting in your future the way sleep is waiting in yours. A place you may drift toward without effort, without fear, without needing to know in advance what you will find. You can simply let yourself be carried toward it, as you are being carried now toward sleep, trusting that the descent is smooth, that the boundary is gentle, that there is nothing to brace against, that you will cross it without a single jolt. Notice how much of tonight has been, quietly, about letting go of effort. The star did not struggle as it collapsed. It simply let gravity complete its long sentence. The light caught in orbit does not strain. It simply circles. The matter falling inward does not steer. It is carried like the passing of the next moment. The black hole itself does not labor to hold its complexity. It smooths into the simplest possible piece. Again and again, the universe shows us its largest and most dramatic events, accomplished not through force and striving, but through release, through gathering, through the patient letting go of everything that no longer needs to be held up. And that, in the end, is what sleep is too. Not something you achieve through effort. Not something you can force or steer or grip your way toward. It is something that arrives when you finally stop holding yourself up, when you let your own weight gather you down, when you release the long effort of the day and let the gentle pull of rest carry you across that boundary, so gentle you cross it without a single jolt. You do not have to do anything more tonight. You only have to let go. The way a star lets go, the way light settles into its orbit, the way everything in the universe eventually, peacefully, comes to rest. Let us return for a moment to that idea of time, because it carries a deep comfort, and because it is woven so beautifully into our question of what happens inside. We spoke earlier of how gravity slows time, how near a black hole a single moment can stretch toward forever. But consider what this means for the very idea of an inside and an outside, the very idea of the boundary at the heart of our title. From the outside, watching, you would never see anything actually cross the horizon. The infalling matter, the stars, the gas, the light, all of it would seem to slow and gather and pile up at the very edge, fading and reddening and stretching out in time, until it appeared frozen there. A soft, shimmering shell of everything that ever fell, held in an endless, suspended moment. From the outside, the inside is forever just out of reach, forever just about to be entered, forever poised at the threshold. And from the inside, falling, the crossing happens smoothly and in good time, with nothing held back, nothing frozen, nothing delayed. Both pictures are true. The boundary is, in a sense, two boundaries at once, an eternal threshold for those who watch, and a smooth passage for those who cross. There is no single answer to where exactly the inside begins, no sharp line where one becomes the other. It is all soft transition, all tender gradient, all gathering and slowing and stretching, with no jolt anywhere to be found. I think there is something deeply restful in the idea that even the most absolute boundary in the universe refuses to be sharp. refuses to be sudden, refuses to announce itself with any clear and certain line. We so often imagine that the great transitions of existence must be sharp, must be marked, must come with some unmistakable moment of before and after. But the universe, at its deepest level, seems to prefer the gradient to the line, the slow fade to the sudden cut, the tender gathering to the abrupt break. Even here, at the edge of a black hole, the most extreme frontier imaginable, there is no clean line, only a smooth and tender deepening, a slow sinking from one state into another with no precise instant of crossing. And the transition you are making tonight, from waking into sleep, is the same kind of transition, soft and gradual and unmarked. You will not feel the precise instant you fall asleep. No one ever does. There is no line, no jolt, no clear moment of before and after. There is only a slow and tender deepening, a gentle gathering of the mind into rest, a smooth sinking from one state into another, so soft that you will never catch the crossing. You will simply find yourself, after a while, on the other side, having crossed without crossing, having passed a boundary so gentle you passed it without a single jolt. Let yourself feel how close that boundary already is. Notice how the room has softened around you, how the edges of things have blurred a little, how the day has grown distant and small. Notice how your breathing has slowed without your asking it to, how your body has grown heavier against the bed, how the difference between waking and sleeping has thinned to almost nothing. A boundary so gentle and so near that you are already half across it. There is nothing left to do now but let the last of you drift over, the way the last of the light drifts into a black hole, smoothly, slowly, without a single jolt, gathered down at last into the deep, quiet rest that has been waiting for you all along. You are so close now, you are nearly there. And there is nothing to brace against, nothing to fear, nothing to hold, only the soft deepening, only the slow sinking, only the tender crossing of a threshold you will never feel yourself cross. And so we come, slowly, toward the end of our long wandering together, the way a river comes at last toward the sea, widening and slowing and growing calm. We set out tonight to ask what happens inside a black hole, and we have wandered through stars and their dying, through the patient centuries of human discovery, through the smooth and jolt-free crossing of the most absolute boundary in nature, through the strange, tender behavior of time, through faint whispers of radiation and the long, slow fading of even the mightiest things, through scale and simplicity and the serene ordinariness of these dark anchors woven all through the cosmos. And at the heart of it all we found, again and again, not terror, but tenderness, not walls, but doorways, not endings, but gentle transitions, not violence, but release. We found a universe that hides its most extreme places inside its smoothest passages, that accomplishes its grandest events through letting go rather than through striving, that builds its most absolute boundaries out of slow, soft gradients with no sharp line anywhere to be found. But before we close, let us linger a little longer in the wonder of it all, because there is no hurry, and the night is wide, and there is still so much soft marvel to rest upon. Consider, for instance, how black holes are not only born from dying stars, but also grow by joining together, by merging, two of them drawn slowly toward each other across vast spans of time, circling closer and closer over millions of years, until at last they spiral together and become one. When this happens, when two black holes finally merge, they send out a tremor through the very fabric of space and time itself. A ripple called a gravitational wave, spreading outward across the universe at the speed of light. A faint stretching and squeezing of space so slight that it took us a century of patient work to learn to feel it. And in the year 2015, for the first time, we did feel it. Two great instruments, built with extraordinary care on opposite sides of a continent, sensed the faintest possible shiver in the length of space itself, a tremor smaller than the width of an atom, a whisper from two black holes that had merged more than 1 billion years ago, so far away that the ripple had been traveling toward us since before complex life arose on Earth. We caught that whisper. We felt the universe ring like a bell from an event unimaginably far away and unimaginably long ago. It is one of the most delicate and patient achievements in all of human history, learning to feel the gentle trembling of space itself. And it tells us that the cosmos is humming softly with these ripples all the time, a quiet music of merging black holes spreading endlessly outward through the dark. Think of that, the universe quietly ringing again and again, with the soft chimes of black holes joining together. A music we cannot hear with our ears, but have finally learned to feel with our most patient instruments. Space itself rings like a struck bell, and then slowly settles back to stillness. The way a pond settles after a stone has dropped, the way a room settles into quiet after the last word has been spoken. And those ripples are passing through you right now, this very moment, the faint echoes of ancient mergers, stretching and easing the space your body occupies by amounts far too small to ever feel. A constant soft trembling of the cosmos washing through you as gently as a tide. You are not separate from this music. You are immersed in it, bathed in the faint ringing of the universe, rocked ever so slightly by the gentle chimes of events that happened before there were oceans on Earth. Let that quiet music rock you now, the way a tide rocks a small boat, the way a hand rocks a cradle, the faint and ancient ringing of the cosmos easing you down toward sleep. And consider, too, how very lucky we are to live in a moment when all of this is known, when human beings have finally pieced together this strange and beautiful picture of black holes after so many centuries of wandering in the dark. For nearly all of human history, people looked up at the night sky and saw only stars, with no notion of the dark anchors hidden among them, no inkling of the gentle boundaries woven through the cosmos. And now, in your own lifetime, in these very years, we have photographed a black hole, felt the ripples of their merging, traced the orbits of stars around the dark heart of our galaxy, and worked out, in extraordinary detail, the strange tender physics of what waits beyond that boundary so gentle, you cross it without a single jolt. You are alive at the very moment when the human family finally came to understand these things. And you are lying here tonight holding that understanding in your own untroubled mind, an inheritor of all those centuries of patient looking. There is a kind of peace in that, a sense of arriving at a good and settled place in the long story of understanding. A sense that you can rest now, because so much that was once mysterious and frightening has been gently brought into the light. The work of understanding goes on, and there is always more to learn, more mystery waiting at the center of every black hole and every question. But tonight, you may set it down, knowing that you live in an age of remarkable light, in a universe far gentler and far more beautiful than our ancestors ever dared to hope. Let us drift once more into the imagined feeling of being carried, because it is such a restful place to rest the mind, and because it is the truest thing we can say about your relationship to all of this vast cosmic motion. Right now, as you lie here, You are being carried in more ways than you could ever count. You are being carried by the spin of the earth, turning you slowly through the night toward a morning you do not yet need to think about, sweeping you through the dark at a speed greater than any aircraft, so smoothly that you feel nothing at all. You are being carried by the Earth's long journey around the sun, an enormous loop you complete once each year, racing through space at a speed beyond imagining, and yet so steady, so even, that you have never once felt the slightest motion. You are being carried by the sun's own voyage around the heart of the galaxy, that 200 million year turning, sweeping the entire solar system along on its grand, slow circuit. And you are being carried by the drift of the galaxy itself through the wider universe, swept along on currents of motion so vast they have no edge. Layer upon layer of motion, immense and ceaseless and grand, and every single layer so perfectly smooth that to you, lying here, it all feels like perfect stillness. You have never, in your entire life, felt the earth move. You have never felt it turn, never felt it race around the sun, never felt it sweep through the galaxy, though it has been doing all of these things, all at once, every moment you have ever lived. You have been carried, gently and ceaselessly, from the moment you were born, across distances that dwarf anything you could picture, and the carrying has been so tender, so smooth, so utterly without jolt, that you have mistaken it your whole life for stillness. And that is the deepest comfort I can offer you tonight. You do not have to move yourself. You do not have to carry yourself anywhere. You are already being carried, and you always have been, by forces patient and vast and infinitely gentle, forces that ask nothing of you, forces that have never once let you fall. Let yourself feel held by all of it now. Let yourself rest into the carrying, the way you might rest into the arms of something larger than yourself, something that has been holding you all along without your ever noticing. You can stop holding yourself up. You can stop carrying yourself forward. The whole turning universe is carrying you, smoothly and tenderly, exactly as it always has. And all you must do tonight is let it, and drift. And as you drift, let the great images of our night float by one last time, slow and dim and beautiful, like lanterns on a dark river. The patient star, glowing for billions of years in its easy balance between the pull and the push. The supernova, scattering its gifts of iron and oxygen and calcium across the cosmos, the very atoms that became your bones and your blood and your breath. The smooth, deep well of the black hole, pressing its gentle hollow into the fabric of space. The event horizon, that boundary so gentle you cross it without a single jolt, the most absolute threshold in all of nature, hidden inside the smoothest possible passage. The light caught in its endless patient orbit, circling and circling, neither leaving nor falling, simply resting in its turning. Time itself slowing and pooling and stretching wide, until a single moment can reach toward forever. The faint whisper of radiation seeping outward, the long, slow, tender fading of even the mightiest things, and the soft unknown at the center, waiting in your future the way morning waits, the way sleep waits, asking nothing, threatening nothing, simply there, simply quiet, simply ready to receive you whenever you are ready to drift the rest of the way down. Let all of these images float past you now, one by one, dimmer and dimmer, slower and slower, until they blur together into a single soft glow, and then into the warm dark, and then into nothing at all but the deep quiet of rest. There is one last gentle thought I would like to leave drifting with you, a thought about belonging, because for all their strangeness, black holes are not aliens in our universe but family, woven into the same long story that made us. When you trace the history of everything backward, far enough, you find that the same patient laws that gather a dying star into a black hole are the laws that gathered clouds of gas into stars in the first place. The laws that gathered dust into planets, the laws that gathered atoms into oceans, and oceans into the slow chemistry that became life. The laws that gathered cells into creatures and creatures, at last, into you. Gravity, that faithful gathering force, is the same force at work in a black hole and in your own quiet body resting on the bed. The same patience that built the black holes built you. The same long, unhurried unfolding that gave the universe its dark anchors gave it. Eventually, a small warm creature capable of lying awake at night and wondering about them. You and the black hole are made of the same story, written by the same patient hand, gathered by the same tender laws. You are not a stranger looking in on a frightening cosmos. You are a part of it, a late and tender chapter in a tale that has been unfolding peacefully for nearly 14 billion years, and the same quiet forces that hold the galaxies in their slow turning are holding you, right now, softly to your bed. And so there is nothing out there in the vast dark to fear, and nothing in here in the quiet room to fear either. The black holes are family. The galaxies are home. The boundary between waking and sleeping is as gentle as the boundary at the edge of a black hole, a threshold so smooth you will cross it without ever feeling the crossing. The whole turning universe is carrying you, as it always has, with infinite patience and infinite gentleness. And the only thing left to do, the only thing that was ever asked of you tonight, is to let go, to stop holding, to stop steering, to stop carrying yourself, and to sink at last into the deep, soft rest that has been waiting for you all along, gathered down by the same gentle pull that gathers stars and light and time itself toward stillness. You are safe, you are held, you are carried, and you may rest now, completely, for as long as you like. With nothing to brace against, and nothing to fear, and nothing at all to do, but drift the gentle rest of the way down into sleep. Feel, one more time, how heavy and how warm your body has become, how deeply it has settled into the bed, how the day has receded far behind you now, dim and small and unimportant. Feel how slow your breathing has grown, how easy, how unforced, drawing in and releasing out all on its own, the way a star breathes across the ages, the way the tide breathes against the shore. Feel how the room has dissolved softly around you, how the edges of everything have blurred into a warm and welcoming dark, how the boundary between you and sleep has thinned to almost nothing at all. You are so close now. You are nearly across. And there is nothing left to do but let the last of you drift over that boundary so gentle you cross it without a single jolt, down and down into the deep, warm quiet where you are held, where you are safe, where you are carried, where you may finally and completely rest. Let us rest for a while longer in the deep quiet of these objects, because there is a peacefulness in their very darkness that is worth dwelling upon. A black hole, at its heart, is the darkest thing the universe has ever made, darker than the darkest night, darker than the space between the stars, a darkness so complete that no light has ever escaped it, and no light ever will. And yet there is nothing menacing in that darkness, once you understand it rightly. It is not the darkness of something hiding, not the darkness of a threat lurking just out of sight. It is the darkness of perfect rest, the darkness of a thing so completely settled that it has stopped giving off light altogether. The darkness of the deepest possible stillness. We are afraid of the dark, sometimes as children and sometimes still as grown people lying awake, because we imagine it full of things we cannot see. But the darkness of a black hole is empty of threat. It is simply the most complete repose that matter can achieve, the deepest possible stillness of all, the place where even light has finally laid itself down to rest. And the darkness around you now, in your own quiet room, is that same kind of darkness. The darkness of rest, the darkness of safety. The darkness that holds you the way the cosmos holds its black holes, gently and without any threat at all. Let the dark around you be that kind of dark tonight, the dark of deep rest, the dark of being held, the dark in which nothing is hiding and nothing is wrong, and there is nothing at all to fear. And think, as you settle deeper, of how the black holes will keep their patient watch long after this night is over, long after this day is forgotten, long after every worry that has ever crossed your mind has dissolved into the past. They will go on turning slowly in the dark, holding the galaxies in their long embrace, ringing softly with the music of their mergers, fading by imperceptible whispers across spans of time too vast for any mind to hold, faithful and quiet and utterly unbothered by anything that happens in a single human night. There is a great steadiness in that, a great and reassuring constancy. The universe is not anxious. The cosmos does not lie awake. The black holes do not fret about tomorrow or turn over the events of the day. They simply rest in their long, slow being, gathered and settled and at peace, exactly as they have been for billions of years, and exactly as they will be for billions more. And you may borrow a little of that steadiness now, a little of that great cosmic calm, and let it settle over your own small night, reminding you that the universe is patient, and the night is long, and there is nothing at all that cannot wait until morning. Everything that needs your attention will still be there when you wake tonight. You may rest with the same untroubled steadiness as a black hole turning slowly in the dark, asking for nothing, holding nothing, simply being, simply at peace. Notice, too, how the very effort of following these ideas has begun to loosen its hold, how you no longer need to grasp at any of them, how the facts and the images have begun to soften and blur and drift apart, no longer ideas you must hold, but simply a warm murmur carrying you down. That is exactly as it should be. None of this was ever meant to be studied or remembered. It was meant to be a gentle current for your mind to float upon, a slow river of soft thoughts to carry you out past the shallows of the day and into the deep calm water of sleep. You may let the words wash over you now without catching any of them, the way you might let the sound of rain wash over you, or the sound of distant waves, or the low hum of a fan in a quiet room. You do not need to understand. You do not need to follow. You only need to float, and to let the gentle sound carry you, deeper and deeper, slower and slower, further and further from the shore of waking, and out into the wide calm dark where sleep is waiting to receive you. And as you float there, right at the edge of sleep, let yourself trust the crossing the way you would trust a tide. You do not need to know the exact moment you will fall asleep, just as the infalling traveler does not feel the exact moment of crossing the horizon. You do not need to do anything to make it happen, just as the matter falling inward does nothing but let itself be carried. You need only stay here, soft and warm and willing, and the crossing will happen on its own, smoothly and gently, and without any jolt at all, a boundary so tender you will pass it without ever knowing you have passed it. One breath you will be here, in the warm dark, listening. And the next, or the next after that, you will simply be on the other side, in the deep quiet of sleep, having crossed without crossing, having drifted across the gentlest boundary in the whole of your night. There is nothing to wait for, and nothing to reach for, and nothing to do. There is only the soft tide of rest, rising slowly around you, lifting you, carrying you, easing you across. Tonight has been about a single quiet question, and all the tenderness hidden inside it. Tonight has been about what happens inside a black hole and how the most frightening place in the universe turns out. When you draw close and look without fear, to be one of the most peaceful. Tonight has been about a star growing tired and letting go, about gravity completing its long, faithful sentence, about a boundary so gentle you cross it without a single jolt. Tonight has been about time slowing and pooling and stretching wide, about light caught resting in its endless orbit, about the long, slow, tender fading of even the mightiest things. Tonight has been about being carried, layer upon layer, by forces vast and patient and infinitely gentle. And tonight has been, more than anything, about letting go. You crossed a boundary without feeling it. You crossed a boundary without feeling it. You crossed a boundary without feeling it. You are being carried, and you always have been. You are being carried, and you always have been. You are being carried, and you always have been. There is nothing to fear in the dark. There is nothing to fear in the dark. There is nothing to fear in the dark. None of this needs anything from you tonight. None of these facts need to be remembered. None of these images need to be held. They were only ever a soft current to carry you down, and you may let every one of them go now, releasing them into the warm dark the way a black hole slowly releases its faint light into the patient night. There is nothing left to understand, nothing left to follow, nothing left to do. You have arrived exactly where you were always drifting toward, the deep, quiet edge of sleep, and you are safe here, and held here, and carried here, and you may simply rest. In a little while, when this exploration ends, another quiet exploration is waiting on the screen, ready to begin all on its own. You do not need to reach for it. You do not need to do anything at all. If you would like it to carry you on through the night, simply let it begin on its own, and let its voice take up where this one leaves off, another soft current to drift upon, another gentle wandering through the wonders of the cosmos, waiting to receive you and carry you onward into the deep. And if some small thought is still drifting at the edge of your mind, here is one last quiet question to send you off. Nothing to answer now, only something to dream upon. If you could drift, weightless and unafraid, toward any wonder in the whole of the universe, knowing you would cross every boundary without a single jolt, where in all the cosmos would you let yourself be carried? Let that question float there softly, unanswered, a small warm light at the edge of sleep, and let it dissolve, in time, into your dreams. And now there is nothing left but rest. Let your body grow heavy and warm one final time, sinking fully into the bed, held completely by the gentle pull that holds the galaxies in their slow turning. Let your breathing fall slow and easy, drawing in and releasing out, all on its own, with no effort at all. Let the room dissolve around you. Let the day dissolve behind you. Let every thought soften and blur and drift away into the warm dark. You are safe. You are held. You are carried. The whole patient universe is cradling you towards sleep, smoothly and tenderly, across a boundary so gentle you will never feel yourself cross it. There is nothing to do now but drift the last of the way down, into the deep quiet, into the soft dark, into rest. Sleep well.